you seeing me? No. It says that the live. Hi, everybody. I think I am live, and I'm happy to have you join me on my channel. I'm just going to make sure I can also see you in the live stream on my show. So let me just make sure I'm here. I am here now. All right, everybody. I think we've got this. Let me just okay, now we've got it. All right, everybody. Hi. I think we did it today. So I am so happy to have you here on my live stream. And it is just 7 o'clock. So we did everything perfect. Thank you all for joining me. And let me know if you are here with me. And so
down says hooray.
Oh, thank you so much. So yes, so let me know so that I can so hooray. So I'm so happy. I'm just going to fiddle with this a little bit. There you are. Hi, Boo. I'm so glad you're here. So I did take your advice and I do have this up and running. So hooray. Hooray to both of us. Thank you so much for your help. If any of you here, please click the thumbs up button. That will let me know that you are here and I can see you. So I'm so thrilled for those of you who are here. I do know it's a big sports night in the Boston area, so I do appreciate those who live locally to join me for what is the frontier of research. Oh, Charlene, awesome. I am so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that it's working. So let me know if you guys are having any problems or not hearing me, but I think we did figure this out using a laptop, which is actually fine for tonight. For those of you who are here, please let me know that you're here, and also by hitting the thumbs up button. For those of you who have yet to subscribe, please do so. As you know, I have to get to 1,000 subscribers in order to be able to use my mobile device. But let me welcome you to tonight's topic, which is a frontier of research in medicine today. It's something called your microbiome. This microbiome plays a profound role in your health in all aspects, from your energy level to your mood, to how you're burning calories, so therefore to your weight, to your risk of disease. So what is this microbiome and how is it having such a profound role in your overall health? And what can you do to improve your microbiome? That is the subject of today's live stream on Dishing with the Dietitian. For those of you who are new to my channel, let me say welcome. What makes me in a position to be able to discuss this with you? My name is Debbie Kravitsky. I've been a registered dietitian for over 30 years. Currently, I'm the director of nutrition at Mass General Hospital's Cardiovascular Disease Prevention Center. I have been a registered dietitian for over 30 years. I'm sorry, I'm doing this at the same time. I just had to mute this so that I was hearing me double. I have been a registered dietitian for over 30 years. Currently, I'm the director of nutrition at Mass General Hospital's Cardiovascular Disease Prevention Center. I have consulted with many corporations. I've also appeared in national publications such as Harper's Bazaar and Family Circle. I've also appeared in television. I have a private practice. It gives me great pleasure to be able to help you to reach your dietary goals by providing current, accurate, evidence-based nutrition information. So let me say welcome. If this is something that interests you, please consider subscribing to my channel because that will allow me to continue to do this with you. Today's topic is something called the microbiome. Why is it that you're hearing so much about this microbiome today? It's because now they've developed technology which can do what's called DNA sequencing, which means that they can look at the genetic makeup of your microbiome. And because of that, they've been able to also identify, it says, we are here. Yay! Oh, wow, Stuart, I'm so excited. That's awesome. Look at that. You are here. That is so good. It's so nice to have my old friends here and new friends who have been joining me, but are sometimes like myself, a little bit tech challenged and are now just figuring out how to make comments on the live stream. So to those of you who are just figuring that out, I say welcome. And I'm so proud of you. I'm sure you're very proud of yourself. It's a great feeling when you're able to do things that you weren't able to do before. So that is great. So welcome to today's topic on the microbiome. So they've been able to identify DNA sequencing, which is your genetic makeup. And they have also developed what's this super software to allow it to go awfully fast. And because of that, it's also less expensive. So we're learning more than we ever did. And what they have been able to do is to look at your microbiome. And what that word means is microbiome refers to the fact that it sounds kind of creepy, but it's true, that we don't live alone, that you're actually the host to tens of trillions of bacteria. There's actually more bacteria on us than there are human cells. And they have been able to identify these bacteria. And that's important because these bacteria determine or dictate how you interact with your environment. And they adapt very quickly. And they're very influenced by your environment, which includes your diet. So we're going to talk about that today. What they have been able to do is identify all these bacteria. And so they've developed sort of like a barcode. And they can see when they look at people who live in the blue zones, those who live into their 90s, 100s, and they have very little disease, hardly any cancer, great cognition. And they look at their microbiome and they compare their microbiome with microbiome of people living here who have sedentary lives, high stress, high saturated fats, a lot of animal red meat, high refined carbohydrates, a lot of added sugar. They look at the microbiomes from the two, and sure enough, they look drastically different. Not a surprise at all. The question is, how can we get what's in their microbiome in us so we can enjoy those same health benefits? Right now, we don't know. And that's important to know that because this is a fast-growing field of research. Marketing, however, often goes faster than the science. So I want to tell you where we are in terms of the science today so that when companies are offering things and promising things that we just aren't ready for, that you won't fall prey. But this is the beginning of individualized medicine, and it is so exciting. So everybody buckle up and stay healthy because the future for healthcare is bright. They have been able to see patterns. So because they've been able to identify the bacteria, they can see what is the bacterial profile of people who have diabetes, of people who have heart disease, of people who are obese. They can now take a look at your microbiome and see, oh, you're having the same profile of somebody who's obese or somebody who's diabetic. And that means that you either have diabetes or you are obese, or you're most likely going to become obese or get diabetes. The next step will be how to manipulate your microbiome so that we can wipe out these diseases. How exciting is that? For example, we can see that a certain bacterial profile is present in somebody who's diabetic. Now they see that when they take mice and they make them sterile, and what that means is these mice were born through a C-section. So when somebody has a vaginal birth, they get exposed to a lot of bacteria. That's actually good for these babies. It starts to build their microbiome. For this, when you're delivered through C-section, you don't get the advantage of those bacteria. So they keep these mice sterile. They give them formula. They don't have them breastfed. That would have exposed them to even more bacteria, which is what you want. So these are formula-fed C-section babies kept in a sterile environment. And when we see that and we inject them with the bacteria that we see in people who have diabetes, these mice develop diabetes. Now, when they take that same bacteria and they develop sort of like when you get the flu vaccine, they develop an anti of that bacteria, and then they inject it back into that mouse, the diabetes significantly, the incidences diminish. So we're on path perhaps to wiping out or significantly reducing the incidences of both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. That's pretty incredible, wouldn't you say? Let me know if you have any questions or comments as I'm going along. What I want you to think of your microbiome is, think of like a piano. Whether you have a plastic piano or you have a beautiful baby grand piano, you both have 26 keys. The keys on the piano, think of them as your genes. The piano player, that's awesome. I'm so glad. I see 12 people watching me now. Sorry to interrupt, but that gets me so excited because the beauty of this is to have you all here. The piano player is the microbiome. It's these genes along with their genetic makeup. So it makes a big difference whether your piano player is Mozart, in which you're going to produce this gorgeous classical music in a healthy environment, or your piano player is Ozzy Osbourne, in which you're going to press the keys that give you diabetes, breast cancer, and obesity. Hugely different. The microbiota is how you interact with the environment. That's the music sheets. It's what you're reading to do that. So this is a very complex area, you can see, in terms of interaction and in terms of not only your food, but your environment, your level of stress, whether you get sleep or not. And it determines the keys that are being played and the manifestations of these diseases. And they're connected to so many things. These microbes or these bacteria will determine whether or not you have autism. And think about this, 70% of those with autism have GI issues. It's connected to Crohn's, it's connected to IBS or irritable bowel, ulcerative colitis. It will be connected to food allergies. It will be connected to heart disease risk, diabetes, as we mentioned, eczema, many things, including ADHD, depression. So this is very widespread, and none of us are immune. We all play a key role. So let me show you a little bit about one of the most well-studied microbiota, which is your gut, and the impact that food has on it. Here we go. I'm going to show you my board right here, and you can see that here is your bloodstream, this red right here, and here is your intestines. And in the lumen of the intestine, I'm just going to show you here. In the lumen of the intestine is where food comes down and comes circling through. And in this area of the lumen of the intestine reside a lot of these microbes. Now, let me tell you about your your intestines. If I was to take your intestines and roll them flat, this is the length of a tennis court. That's huge. And in that area are trillions of bacteria, and they are playing a key role. So how you treat them is going to impact your health. Can you even imagine that? So that's why you want to be a good host. So let me take you inside your gut to show you a little snapshot of a picture of what's happening. When you eat foods high in fiber, fiber is the undigestible portion of food. We don't have the genes to break down fiber. That's why it's going to go from your mouth into your stomach, into your small intestine. It'll end up at the end of your large intestine, your colon. And here reside these bacteria. And what do they love to do? They love that fiber. And so they'll gobble up that fiber, and they're going to produce, as a byproduct of that, something called short-chain fatty acids. These short-chain fatty acids are tremendous for improving your health. And I'm here. Oh, yay. I'm so glad you're here, Amy. Go you. You could do it tonight. Look at that. You told me, so I'm so thrilled. So now here we go. We're going to produce these short-chain fatty acids, and they are going to protect the lining of your gut. Your gut is lined with these tightly bound cells, and they're tightly woven together like this so that harmful agents, potential carcinogens, can't get into your bloodstream, which is there, and enter your circulation and do you harm. You don't want that to happen. So they're going to make sure that they stay nice and tight. And these microbes will receive messages they'll talk to microbes here, we'll talk to microbes in the line in this mucosal layer, and they will tell it, don't let that fella in, or let this fella in. So it will allow nutrients that it needs to get absorbed, and it will prevent other ones from coming out. Thanks, Professor. I feel like I'm back in bio class. That's exactly right, because this is important, because this is actually your AP bio class, your newly updated bio class, Jim. So I'm hoping that this is helpful to you. Now, these short chain fatty acids will also control the pH, or the acid-base balance of this area in your gut, and that will not allow potential toxins like E. coli, harmful agents. They won't be able to flourish here, and they will just get excreted. So foods that you've digested already that you aren't need will be like tourists. They're going to come and go, and you're going to excrete them. But the fiber will get gobbled up and get produced as short chain fatty acids, and that will be positive for you, for giving you a healthy bacteria in your gut. If your diet does not include fiber, then this plush layer here and these tight junctions, they won't be maintained, because they needed the byproduct of those short chain fatty acids to maintain their structural integrity. And without the fuel, without the materials they need, then this becomes a little loosey-goosey, and now you have leaky things that shouldn't have gone in will now get into circulation. So gluten, for example, might get in. Lactose, milk protein might get in, or milk protein might get in. And then your body didn't recognize these things as fuel. So it reacts with an inflammatory response. It becomes inflamed, and you have a problem. Hey, Bernie, how are you? So glad you're here. This is awesome. You guys are just unbelievable. You are great. So that's why fiber is your friend, because you need to give these bacteria the fuel and the material they need in order to keep you healthy. What you're looking for is three things. You're looking for diversity. Why do you need diversity when it comes to these microbes? Because none of us are perfect. And if you eat something that's going to diminish your microbiome or wipe out one species, perhaps, you need to be able to bounce back. You need resiliency so that you can override it, so to speak. You also need a large mass. You need a large population, so you also can have resiliency. And this is what you're looking for. So let me show you a few things. The impact of food can be in a very short time, and it can bounce back if you if you go back to bad habits. It will also go back in a very short time. Within a week, they gave a group the equivalent of 7 cans of diet soda, which was sweetened with saccharin. Now, saccharin, I think Tab is the only one I can think of that's currently still sweetened with saccharin. But saccharin, when they gave, after just 7 days of this kind of a diet, they had the microbiome profile that matched that of a smoker in just 7 days. After 30 days of giving a group a fiberless diet, their microbiome, they wiped out 1,400 species, and of that, some of them never returned, and those that did return, it took a year to get it back. So this is a profound impact on your health, and so it really makes a big difference. Now, in terms of should you take a supplement, should you take a probiotic, my answer to you is no. I'd rather you do it from food. Let me tell you why. I'm going to start at the top. Number one, supplements are the wild, wild west of medicine. And you want to think of that this is a very complex arena. And look at this, which I love is that I can do this on this board. When I'm on this board, tell me if you guys can see this. You want to think of here, these dots are all these microbes. Okay? And here are some other bacteria. And then how they talk to each other. Look how complex this is through these lines. These are their lines of communication. And there's a lot we don't know. So to say, oh, I need this one, and to take loads of that one, I can't tell you that that's going to do you any good. It actually might even upset the whole apple cart and do you harm. Additionally, this is the Wild West of medicines, the area of supplements. For medicine to go onto market, it has to go through years of testing for safety and efficacy. But anybody can make a supplement and put it out there, and that's very little consolation to you and I. When you buy certain vitamin supplements, what you're looking for, therefore, is called a USP stamp. It's a United States Pharmacopoeia. It means that this manufacturer has paid the United States Pharmacopoeia or pharmacy to ensure what's on the package is in the package. So it has nothing to do with safety. It just means you're getting what they say. There is no USP stamp for probiotics. We don't have it yet. This is all brand new. This is a new area of research. And it is down to the specific strain. So there are species or families of bacteria, and under each one, there are many, many, many strains. And you want to make sure that you get the right strain, not species. It's like the species would be the dog. There's a huge difference between my Bichon and the Great Dane. Huge. And you want to know that they'll do very different things for you. So you want to make sure that for whatever your goal is, that you get the right strain of the right species. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with you guys? Let me know, because that's how specific this is. Now, we do know the impact of foods. Think of prebiotics in terms of foods as the feed, and think of probiotics as the seed, prebiotics as the fertilizer, prebiotics as the seed. You need both to really get a great yard. And if you ever needed something called a fecal transplant, that would give you a whole new yard. So in terms of prebiotics for foods, it's things like onions and garlic and leeks, artichokes. And in terms of probiotics, it's fermented food, kimchi, sourdough bread. You'll love this for some people. Beer and wine. I'm sure you never thought I'd say that. Dark chocolate, yogurt that has the presence of live cultures. And it has to say presence of live cultures in it. You're looking for diversity. And that will help your microbes to survive and to flourish and to keep this nice and plush and great. What negatively impacts the microbiome? Lack of sleep, stress, a sedentary lifestyle. It would be a high sugar diet. So the sugar in fruit is tightly bound to fiber, not a problem at all because you're getting the fiber. But added sugars, that's a problem. So regular soda, candy, cookies, ice cream, cake, these are going to negatively impact, give you a dysbiosis, an imbalance of in your microbes. It would also be stress, antibiotics, long-term, medications long-term, that would wipe it out. So make sure that you try to stay healthy, you reduce it, and that you stay on track. So what you're looking for is a high plant diversity. You're looking for multiple species, not only high fiber, but multiple species. That's why when I tell you at Mass General, and I tell you at MathWorks, and I tell you in my private practice to eat the rainbow, this is what I mean, that you want to get at least 30 species a day. So how does that sound too hard to reach? Let me show you how it isn't. If you were to have a salad, and in your salad you had lettuce, that's one species, you had red pepper, there's two, you had celery, carrots, and maybe tomatoes, you've already just done 5. Now you have 3 fruit during the day, and they're 3 different fruit. You're already at 8. So you can get to 30 different species during the day. You just want to eat the rainbow, and that would do it for you. Let me know if that sounds like something that you can do. Things to a glass of wine is another. My daughter's sitting here loving that one. Let me know if that sounds like something that's going to appeal to you. But remember, less is more. It's 1 glass for a woman, which is 4 ounces of wine, 1.5 ounces of straight alcohol, and 12 ounces of beer, and no more than 2 for a man. To improve your microbiome, here's what I want you to include. High plant diversity. I want you not to char your food on the grill, low heat. I want you to include foods that are high in fiber. Do not have a low refined carbohydrate diet. Carbohydrates that have had their fiber removed, we call them refined. So white bread, white pasta, white rice. It's not a white thing. Cauliflower is great. M&M's not so good. But we need juice, smoothies would have fruit and vegetables in them. These aren't great. You need the fiber along with their cellular structure, their roughage, so that you can brush along and give these microbes a plush lining. Fermented foods, organic foods, intermittent fasting is thought to improve your microbiome. And what that means is 12 hours of not eating. So don't do it during the day. I know you need to eat during the day. Do it at night when you would have been sleeping for most of this time anyway. So 7 at night, you could stop eating, and you don't start eating till 7 in the morning. That's 12 hours, or 8 to 8, whatever works for your schedule. Foods that are high in something called polyphenols, you get them from green tea, you get them from the wine, legumes, flax seeds, dark chocolate, coffee. That was for me. These actually improve your microbiome. A lot of fish, omega-3s, will improve the microbiome. A high consumption of plant fiber, that's what you're looking for. And it's thought that about 50 grams of fiber a day is therapeutic. And just to give you an example, an apple is about 4 or 5 grams, or 4 to 6 grams, depending on the size. So 50 grams is a lot. If you have irritable bowel, or you're not able to digest a lot of fiber, just add it really gradually. Even little bits will make a big difference. Also, make sure when you add fiber that you drink a lot of water, because you want to flush this fiber out. So that makes a big, big difference. But watch the sugar, watch the fat. It's not anything that we haven't been saying for years. It's just that this gives us a deeper understanding of why it is that this is ringing true. It really makes a huge difference in, and it gives great credence to the fact that we are what we eat. What will be so fascinating is that these microbes have their own DNA, which is stunning. And it's what separates each one of us and makes us all unique. What that means is this is the beginning of really individually tailored medicine. It will explain why you can go on a low-carb diet and lose a ton of weight, and the person next to you on the same diet will gain a ton of weight. It has to do with their microbes and how they're interacting with the environment. So we'll be able to change that in the future, which will be just incredible. Right now, you can send a swab to AmericanGut.com. They will tell you what your microbiome looks like. They'll even tell you how it compares to people around you. The question is, what do you do with that? At the end of the day, that's as far as we've gotten. But in the future, you will go to your primary care physician and they will order blood work. They're going to want to know what your cholesterol, your blood sugar is. They'll take your blood pressure. But then they'll also take a swab, because they're going to want to know, what is your microbiome telling us about your health, and how can we manipulate it to get it where you need to be. This will be the beginning of wiping out many, many diseases, and the future is bright. So I want you to stay healthy. I want you to have a plant-based diet with fruits and vegetables, rich in fiber. They're also rich in something called antioxidants, because these will play a profound role. If you change your diet, you may notice, and let me know if you do, that your energy level is better, that your mood is better, that your risk for disease is going down, and you can feel it. You can feel that energy. Let me know if, when you are eating what you think is a heart healthy diet, if you feel better. That is why something like the ketogenic diet would not make sense, because when we eat foods that are high in animal protein, we have dysbiosis. We have an imbalance of these bacteria, and we end up with more unhealthy bacteria than healthy bacteria. And those bacteria that we produce when we have a high animal fat diet or high saturated fat diet, when you say, I just saw this live stream on microbiome and I really should have a salad. Well, those bacteria that you've been feeding a cheeseburger for the past 10 years, they're not going to be happy with you having a salad, because that's not how they're going to survive. And they're going to tell you, no, don't do that. So you're going to have to override them at the beginning as you detox. That's pretty stunning. They are talking. They talk to each other and they talk to you. There is a brain gut connection, and they are going to talk to you and tell you, don't do that. get the cheeseburger, but you're going to have to override, use your knowledge now to override as you want to start to have a better balance of bacteria, greater diversity that will improve your health. I think you will feel it. Let me know what you think of this. Any questions or comments, anything you've known. We're going to find that that this is pretty stunning, that if you want to know, how do you know if your microbiome is healthy? Ready for this? Look at your data dump. It's your toilet. See your poop. It should be smooth and cool, and it should be in a curve. I know, but this is, we all do, so we have to talk about it. What's unbelievable today is that there are smart toilets. How do you like that? And it analyzes your urine, and there will be in the near future smart toilet paper. Hi, Charlene. Oh man, mine are so mad as they're hanging up. LOL. Oh, Charlene, you're hysterical. But now you know why they're mad. So that helps you, doesn't it? So that's a good thing. The more you know, the better. This knowledge is power, and you just can't turn away from it once you know. But smart toilets are already in existence, and smart toilet paper is a coming. So it won't be long before they do. Now, you mentioned that, hi, Amy, you mentioned that cooking food on the grill at a lower temperature. Why is that? Because when you have charred food, as delicious as that charred tastes, it actually produces a potential carcinogen. So that's why. So that's why you want it. And Charlene is sending me an emoji, which is hysterical. So that's why you want to cook it low and slow. And you might even want to part cook in a microwave or in the oven and then finish it off on the grill so that you get that grill flavor, which is delicious without the charring. Marinades will also help prevent the charring. Hi, Stu. Very informative and great delivery. Hi, Stuart. I am so glad you've joined me on the live stream tonight, and I'm so thrilled that that you found it informative. And let me know if it helps guide you as you make your food decisions, thinking about what you're going to have perhaps for dinner if you haven't had dinner, or what you're going to have tomorrow during the day. Hopefully it'll include some fruit and some vegetables and some whole grain, high fiber breads and cereals and crackers, because they do play a profound role in your microbiome and therefore in you and in your health. All right, everybody. Well, I'm so glad you've joined me on this live stream. If I'm going to give you a second to see if I hear from anybody else. Otherwise, just so you know, for those of you who are my patients at Mass General or have met me privately or at MathWorks, this is just what I've been telling you all along. So it's not different information, but it just gives you more incentive. And some people say to me, I think, I know all this. Is there anything else I need to know? And this is it. This is it, because you need to keep this nice and tight. You don't want these leaky or inflamed areas. And they are directly a result of your diet and your interaction with your environment. What's interesting is the things that will give you dysbiosis or an imbalance. Also, I know I have to tell you this. I probably put it out of my head for a second, was ice cream, emulsifiers. The reason why I say ice cream is it's my absolute favorite, just so you know. That's why I love Enlighten. But an emulsifier called polysorbate 80 will negatively impact your microbiome. Hi there. How are you guys? I need bumper stickers. Feed your microbiome. Great job. Thank you. I think that would be an amazing one. And that is feed your microbiome what it needs to be healthy. And that would be fiber. Fiber is your friend. I had a patient who made a t-shirt after coming to classes saying, be the blender. And fiber is your friend. So if you can remember anything, it is that. Fiber is your friend, and be the blender. Have the whole fruit, not the juice. So polysorbate 80 is also something called carboxymethylcellulose. These are emulsifiers that we know will negatively impact your microbiome. Unfortunately, artificial sweeteners negatively impact, added sugars negatively impact, processed foods that have these emulsifiers in them, smoking, vaping, chronic stress, the antimicrobial soaps and sanitizers that, you see people who sanitize every 3 seconds. This is not good. You need diversity. You need to make friends. Those people who are outside all the time, do much better. They're exposed to more microbiomes, more germs. You need this bacteria. And when you're inside all day, you don't get that same exposure. When you're sedentary, you don't get that same exposure. You really want to have microbial diversity. So that's what we're looking for. So go outside. Now we're getting into better weather, so that is great. Go outside, get a good night's sleep first tonight. Have a salad, have a bowl of popcorn. Yeah, whole grain, delicious. And maybe have a glass of wine with it. How do you like that? Pretty fun. So this is great to do. It should be easy for most people, but it's motivating as you're trying to decide chocolate cake versus dark chocolate candy bar. You go for dark chocolate. If you're deciding white bread versus whole grain bread or sourdough bread, go sourdough or whole grain. If you're trying to decide red meat, a steak versus a piece of fish, it's fish, 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 fish. Making these choices will help you to resist diseases, to resist development of disease. We did a large study at Mass General. We looked at people who had a genetic predisposition to heart disease, and they felt like their destiny was written. They were doomed, but actually they found that it was lifestyle more important than genetics that dictated whether or not someone went on and had a heart event. So this is your area of control. This is your microbiome. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all. For those in the Boston area, good luck to all the teams. I hope they have a great night. And Charlene, what kind of sourdough bread do I buy? I actually like the Trader Joe's sourdough bread, but they're all good. When Pigs Fly is another good company. I love sourdough bread. I think it's great. I often toast it and then rub some garlic on it. Let me know if you taste that. And then you could use spray butter or put bruschetta on top. It is delicious. You actually could even rub it with garlic, put some spray butter if you want, put some Baby Bell cheese that you've toasted and melt it, and then put the bruschetta on top of that. Yum. Call me. That sounds good to me. Let me know what you think. So this should be good eats. Really fun, really delicious. But now you know why it is that you're doing what you're doing. All right, you guys. I'm so happy you've joined me tonight on the live stream. You guys are just the bomb diggity best, as you know. I can't tell you how happy I am that we got this up and running and that you guys stayed with me and came back even after we had a challenge last time. So what can I tell you? You guys are the best. I'll see you tomorrow for those. Love your guts. This is why I can't quit you guys, because this is why I do this, because you guys are like, forget about it, the best. Next time I'm going to also wear my glasses, so when you write, I won't have to go like this, and I can read this. But I love all of your guts too, and we're going to make them even better. So I'll look forward to seeing those of you who I see tomorrow. The others I see on Friday. Some I see on Thursday. And for those who are joining us, even though they're just through the live streams or through Dietitian with the Dietitian, I will see you in 2 weeks at 7:00. Thank you guys all so much. It has been a thrill to have you here joining me. Have a great night. Thank you for joining me on Dietitian with the Dietitian. If this was something that interested you and you found it helpful, please click the thumbs up. That gives me, that lets me know how I did tonight. All right. Also, if there's any other topics that you want me to cover, I'm happy to do so. These have all been led by people who've made these suggestions of topics for me to cover, and I'm happy to do so. So just let me know. So let me know what you'd like by typing that in. All right, everybody. Have a great night, and thank you for joining me. I do. Where's the comment? See you in a couple of weeks. Oh, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I love that. in a couple of weeks. You're going to be away? On YouTube. Yay, thanks. Okay. Have I done this? Am I still on? Yeah. I'm not on. I shut the camera off, but it doesn't mean. So, let's see how you do that. You.